This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. Why, hello there, people. Welcome to Bois, a King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am once again still unchanged, still here.
It's still Rusty.
Still Rusty.
We are at season 7, episode 16, or in the year of our Lord 7 ABE 06, the Miseducation of Bobby Hill. We're on a slight Bobby Hill run here. The last one was about Bobby Hill. Our Friday was about Bobby Hill, and this episode is pretty much about Bobby Hill.
Pretty much about Bobby Hill. It's like a good little Bobby Hill run here.
This one was, it says, March 16th, 2003. Bobby and Joe Jack, while working at Strickland Propane, use unscrupulous tactics to win customers. Meanwhile, Bill floats all over Arlen after being tied to a lawn chair held up by balloons, and Peggy frets over liver medication. I don't remember Peggy fretting over liver medication in this.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I just watched this, and I do not remember that part. What do you expect? Huh. I think that's weird. I don't remember that part at all. Anyway, directed.
No. So on the second disc of season 7 DVD, the incorrectly described the subplot of this episode about Peggy buying a liver cleansing supplement, thinking he's slowly killing her. But that's highly likely that was supposed to be the B story of the episode, but it got rejected and replaced with Bill's weather balloon thing.
Oh.
So they think that's just a typo on the Peggy description. That's cool. That's a cool little Easter egg.
Okay. All right. That is kind of cool.
Also, I'll wait. I got a cool little fun fact here in a minute when we get to it.
Okay. R. McLean J says, I think she pulls her groin trying to lift Bobby.
Yeah, probably.
Not sure about that. This is directed by Tricia Garcia and Clay Hall. The writers are Mike Judge, Greg Daniels, and Tim Croston, which I don't know Tim Croston, but that's a new name to me.
Yeah, he's an episode writer. From what I understand, this might be the only episode that he's written is this one. But his only credit is King of the Hill. He did 66 episodes as executive story editor, and he was Greg Daniels' assistant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's been around for a while around the whole King of the Hill show. He was there from 98 to 08, so he was part of 66 episodes.
Artie says it's an entirely different episode where Peggy pulls her groin.
Yeah, very different.
All right, so we got the groin straight. All right, so we start off in the alley, and we see Bill and Boomhauer, and Dale comes in with a weather balloon. Hank's there as well. You see Dale come in with a giant weather balloon. And he goes, Bill says, ooh, balloon. Whose birthday is it? Joseph's or Nancy's? No, wait, is it my birthday? Is it? And Hank says, Bill, it's a weather balloon, and your birthday is last week. Sorry, Bill. Happy belated birthday. I mean, they didn't even remember it was his birthday last week. And I'd like to point out, Bill didn't bring it up.
No, he didn't.
So he goes, oh, thank you, Hank. Dale says, I've got 18 more of these, a balloonist dozen. I don't know that that's the way it works.
What the hell, a balloonist dozen?
Never heard of balloonist dozen. And then Boomhauer said, hey, man, how about the dangle dude did a true story, man? Got all them balloons up in the long chair, man, going about 16,000 feet. Bruce Dern played him in a dang old movie, man. Bruce Dern did play a guy who went up in a balloon. That was an actual movie.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that guy.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, Bruce Dern, real quick. Yeah, he's an actor or whatever. He was in a lot. He's been in a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies.
Laura Dern is his daughter.
Yeah, Laura Dern is his daughter. I was trying to think of one of his movies.
He was in A Durning We Will Go.
Nebraska. That was the one that I've seen him in recently. Nebraska.
He's crazy old man in Nebraska.
He was in Django Unchained, Small Soldiers, Wild Bill.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's been acting for a long time. But yeah, so there was a guy named Lawn Chair Larry. He had a dream of becoming a pilot his whole life, but he had bad eyesight, so he never did. So he became a truck driver instead. Well, when he was 13, he had this idea of flying into the sky using weather balloons after seeing them at a surplus store one time. So he's later on in life, he's like a grown man, now doing this. He's at a military store, and he goes in and he buys these huge balloons. He buys a pellet gun, and then he was going to float over the desert and then use the pellet gun to shoot the balloons. So he ended up getting 45 of these 8-foot balloons and some helium tanks, and attached all 42 of them to a chair. He grabbed a pellet gun, a CB radio, sandwiches, 2 liters of Coke, a pack of beer, and a camera. Never took any pictures, though. He never ended up taking any pictures, but he ended up getting to a height of about 16,000 feet and was spotted by 2 commercial airliners, actually, that were in the air. And he slowly drifted across Long Beach and ended up like drifting into like an airport area. Yeah. So he ended up like shooting a couple of the balloons to help lower himself down, but he ended up dropping the pellet gun. So his descent was just super, super, super slow. So he ended up getting caught in a power line on 423 East 44th Way in Long Beach. But he ended up getting arrested, and pretty much the FAA told him, or one of the regional safety inspectors or whatever in the area told him, well, we know you broke some type of FAA law. We don't know what it is, but we're going to figure it out. When we figure it out, we're going to, fine you. So he ended up getting fined like $4,000 for that. And it was some violations under the federal aviation regulations, and one of them was called operating an aircraft in an airport traffic area without establishing and maintaining two-way communications with the control tower. He ended up getting charged $1,500, and that was it. But he said his quote was, "It was something I had to do. I had this dream for 20 years, and if I had to. I think I would have ended up in a funny farm."
Wow, that's crazy. Artie says another movie is The Cowboys with John Wayne. He's in that.
That's good.
And then he says they already celebrated Bill's birthday seasons ago with Ann Richards, and he's saying it's just 1 year later. And then Black Ant says, "Someone's got a birthday, I wonder who," which I just love. That. I love that reference. All right, so we are at the Boomhauer's talking about how great it is that guy went up in all the balloons. Hank says, "Boomhauer, that guy almost died. You can't just strap some weather balloons to a lawn chair and fly to the store for some candy. That's ridiculous." He goes, "Oh, I need to focus. Our biggest propane," like that whole thing is over as far as Hank's concerned, right?
Over, yeah.
It's just completely over.
All right, that's like, it.
Yep, that's it. I got it. He goes, "I need to focus. Our biggest propane sale of the year starts tomorrow. I can't afford to be thinking about helium." Can't afford to be thinking about helium, by the way. Dale's he walks off, and Dale's like, "Yeah, that's ridiculous, Boomhauer." He looks at him, and he's just like, like they're gonna freaking try it anyway. I mean, you knew they were going to, but
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're at Strickland, and we see the big banner outside that says "Welcome to Grill Stravaganza" up on top of the thing. Hank is sitting in his truck, and he's thinking to himself. So we're hearing his internal monologue, and he goes, "This is it, the Grill Stravaganza. Okay, let's do it on 3. 1, 2, 3 for the customer." It's like he's got this group of people putting their hand around in a circle in his head. 1, 2, 3 for the customer. It's insane. So he goes inside, and he is all jazzed up. He's ready to go for this big grill extravaganza. He comes in, "Enrique, nice clip on." He's walking through, looking good. "Donna, thanks for clearing your desk. I know how much you like your unicorns." And then he sees Joe Jack. Joe Jack is over there. He's got a top hat. He's pulling magic scarves out of his hand. He goes, "Joe Jack, what's with the hat?" "Oh, sorry, honey, but this year I'm going to be selling more grills than you. In fact, you're winning streak's about to go up in flames. Abracazam. And then it takes just a second. He goes, abracazam, opens his hands like this. And then poof, then finally flames come out. He goes, oh, good God, that's hot. Hank says, do you know why I sell them? Do what?
Some little party trick.
He's got a little flash. He's got the little flashbangs in his hand or whatever. He goes, you know why I sell the most propane grill extravaganza, Joe Jack? I educate the customer so they can make an informed decision. That's my magic trick. He goes, rabbit done peed on my head. Takes his hat off. The rabbit's peeing down his head that was under his hat. All right, we're back at the Hill House, and of course we're in bed.
That's horrible. He's got rabbit piss down his neck.
Rabbit peeing on his head.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah. His only response is, rabbit done peed on my head. We're in bed with Hank and Peggy, and he goes, boy, that Joe Jack, he's never going to get anywhere until he learns that sales is all about character. She goes, well, unfortunately, that's the sort of lesson he'll only learn on his deathbed. No one will buy a grill from a dying man.
It's a little rough.
From a dying man. He goes, hey, you know who might get a kick out of learning some character? Bobby. Maybe I'll take him to work, show him how his old man pays for his bath salts. That is a weird thing to say.
That is a really weird thing to say.
They
used to sell bath salts at gas stations, and they say if you smoked it, it would make you want to eat like dogs.
Well, there was a guy here in town that ate his own dog out in the middle of his front yard because he was on the bath salts so hard.
Somebody's face or something. Yeah. Those wild. They said it was like some Chinese research drugs or something.
It's insane. I don't know what it is. We're now at Strickland, back at the sale. Joe Jack is over there doing magic for the customers. And it kind of goes through Bobby became a bath salts zombie. We go through and we're seeing all the customers and the big sale go. Yeah. We see the big sale and the
good band name. Yeah. Like for a punk rock band, the bath salts.
Oh, it is a good band name. Yeah, I like that.
Trademark.
He brings Bobby through, and we see the big sale going on and everything. Bobby, of course, sees the plate of cookies, and he's cookies. He goes, Bobby, that is not a cookie; it's a sales cookie. When you make a sale, you get a cookie, and you get to ring the bell. It's asinine, but it works for some people. And then you see the bell ring, or you hear the bell ring. Joe Jack rings it. By the way, when they came through the door to come in, we get a glimpse of across the street at Thatherton Fuels, and there's a big banner up. Yeah, there's a big banner up over there that says "Meet the girls from Jug Store Cowboy." So these sales could not be
the hell out of grills over there.
Well, I'm just saying these sales could not be any more different from each other. One is just a flat up sale, and you got one guy doing magic, and the other one's got girls in bikinis.
And one guy's got rabbits pissing down his neck.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, I would probably go to the other one. Joe Jack rings the bell and he goes,
store, whatever that is.
Joe Jack rings the bell and he goes, the sale cookie's the sweetest cookie you'll ever taste, honey. Every time I hear a bell, I starts to drooling. Hank points out the dry erase board over there, and he goes, and this is the sales board. It's like a giant scoreboard at the Masters, except instead of Tiger Woods, you have me. He goes, you want to make a sale on your first day? I'm sorry. He goes, instead you have me. He goes, Bobby looks at it and goes, wow, cookies, my name in blue marker. What do you want me to sell first? He goes, you want to make a sale on your first day? And he just kind of laughs at it. He goes, oh, God bless you, boy. I think you better watch this first. And he goes over to a customer. He goes, I see you admiring the Wagner line. Why don't you give these brochures a read, talk them over with your wife or a trusted older family member, and come back when you're ready. We'll be here. He just opens the door and lets the guy out. Right.
That's it. Yeah.
And the customer's like, okay, well, thanks. I guess. He goes, yeah, gives me chills every time. Comes back over to Bobby. Bobby's like, I don't get it. You let him leave. He goes, well, at the end of the month, you'll get it. When my customers return, educated and ready to buy, that leads us to lesson number 1. So straighten up your tie because you're going to meet a lady. He takes him in the back, and we see all these propane tanks on the shelves up there, right? Artie, by the way, says that Jug Store Cowboy is a strip club up the road. Want to meet him? Get $1. And he's absolutely right about that. We have learned about Jug Store Cowboys before. But there is one tank on the floor. It's got a blonde wig on it. It also has 2 little pink shoes with bows on it. It's got a thing on it. They've written on the side of the tank, it says for demo purposes only. And Hank looks at Bobby and he goes, this is Lucy, the wipe tank trainer. He goes, what exactly does wiping a grimy tank have to do with selling propane? He goes, everything. When you talk tanks with the customer, it won't just be talk. You'll have smelled, touched, and tasted more tanks than he'll ever seen. Tasted, I thought was an odd thing to say.
Yeah, well, he's out there licking tanks or what,
Yes,
Hank?
you got to lick a tank.
Come on, Hank.
Got to lick a lot of tanks before you get Prince Charming. He says, but I want to sell grills. He goes, well, when you're ready, you will. All right, now what you do is you wipe her from head down to her feet. And Bobby wipes it wrong. He goes, no, Bobby. Remember, head to feet, you won't cause a leak. Feet to head, everyone's dead. Which I think you talk about a great T-shirt. Just a propane tank, maybe a little fire over it or something, and it says head to feet, you won't cause a leak. Feet to head, everyone's dead. That's a great T-shirt right there. All right, so now we're back with the boys. We see 15 weather balloons. They are tied to a lawn chair with Bill in it. Bill, for some reason, is wearing a full suit and a tie. He's got his binoculars ready to go. Yep. There's sandbags on this thing, and Dale is tying it to the back of the Bugaboo so that he won't just it won't just fly away. Black Ant says, did Hank lick a tank to create Peggy? That may just be exactly what happened. Yeah, maybe he licked a tank and Peggy was born.
Conception theory.
Yeah, it's kind of like every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Every time you lick a tank, and Peggy appears. So we're back with the three guys, and he's tying it to the Bugaboo, and he goes, all right, tank tethered. By the way, his license plate is Texas plate, of course. It's LXD352. I don't know if it stays that way throughout the entire series, but it is LXD352. Bill says, I'm going to be floating with the angels. Well, that pretty much means you're dead. Dale starts loading a gun. He looks at it and he goes, what's that gun for? There's a small to large chance. There's a small to large chance you'll develop high altitude pulmonary edema, which means your capillaries will fill with fluid.
That's another good band name, pulmonary edema.
That's true. Your capillaries will fill with fluid, preventing adequate oxygenation, a spiral of worsening hypoxia, leading to a slow and painful death. He's done some study on this.
He did a little bit of research.
Yeah.
I don't know
Bill
how
says,
much. He
says all that.
A little Google.
He says all that, and Bill goes, I don't think I want that. Well, no shit, Bill. Yeah, you don't want that.
No, you don't.
That's why I got the gun. If you start feeling any shortness of breath, rub your belly, and I'll give you one of Dr. Dale's 38 caliber pain pills. What the fuck?
God,
he's just going to kill him. He goes, what? Yeah. He goes, don't worry, I'm a good shot. Remove the sandbags, Boomhauer. He removes the sandbags. Bill starts to float a little bit. He goes, it works. He goes up about 3 feet, and he looks around and goes, oh, it's so beautiful up here. You're 3 feet off the ground, Bill. That's all.
He ain't high up yet.
So then he's talking to Boomhauer, and he goes, okay, when we release the second tether, Bill should gradually float as planned, or he will sail uncontrollably into the stratosphere. Bill's just like, huh? He goes, cut the cord, Boomhauer. Boomhauer cuts it. Bill starts floating away. He's very unsteady, starts to hang off of it. He falls off. He's hanging on to it by one hand. We think Bill's going to fall. Honestly, Bill should have just taken one for the team, fallen off of this thing right away, and he would have been fine.
Immediately.
Because he was like 5 feet in the air. I mean,
it wouldn't even 5 feet. He'd be all right. But now
he wasn't even over the house. Like it was anyway. He's hanging onto it by one hand, and Dale says he's giving the signal. Stick out your chest so I can get a clean shot at your heart. I mean, Jesus. Bill says, "Oh, I made it. He says he's giving the signal. Stick out your clean." And Boomhauer goes, "Oh man, you did dang old signal rope, man." So he's trying to use the escape rope. He reaches for it, starts to climb down. He falls off. He's hanging by 1 foot upside down on the thing. And he goes, "Oh, I made it. I'm all right." And then he starts floating away, but he's banging into the fence. He's banging into the Bugaboo. He's banging into the trash cans, and you just see him kind of float away. It's not great. He goes, "You're not doing it right." He's screaming, bang, 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 help, help, help. Boomhauer goes, "Hey, man, I think better shot the balloon on, man." He goes, "My eyes." And he's just, dang old Bill's gone, man. He just starts floating away, right? He shoots at him a few times, misses it, hits a sandbag, So he floats up even further. So once again, Dale has screwed Bill, and he doesn't really care.
Old Bill's gone, man.
Yeah, he just gone, man. He said, my favorite part is the sawdust falling in Bill's face with him spitting and shrieking. Yep. They treat Bill so shittily. Okay, so it's nighttime.
They don't do him justice. Poor guy.
We're at the Hill House. Bobby is sitting there at the table. He's trying to R. McLean says, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Bill's scenes are a different animation style. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize. I don't guess I noticed when I was watching it that it was very much different. But maybe we're talking digital versus actual animation.
Yeah, that's what it is. Where Bill accidentally tied to the lawn chair and then he floats off or whatever.
Yeah,
that's it's digitally inked and painted.
Yeah. Oh, cell animated, he said. All right. So it's night at the Hill House. We're sitting at the dinner table. Bobby is trying to reach over and grab some chicken or some food. And he goes, ow, ow, ow. He goes, congratulations, Bobby. That pain you get is from not taking shortcuts. Well, that's not really great. Bobby gets up. He's just like, okay. Doesn't even eat or anything. He just goes away depressed. He's got that sad Charlie Brown walk, where he's got his head down and kind of shuffling away. He goes, I think he may really, he's talking to Peggy. He goes, I think he may really have what it takes to be a great propane salesman. Look, Peggy, he can barely make it to his room. And then you just hear, he goes, oh, he can't. Because that Bobby just passed out over there somewhere.
That's it.